Hello, my 101 ears. Welcome to the penultimate week of our winter intersession. It's flying, huh? It's flying. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's the end of the intersession right around the corner. Hope that this greeting finds you in good spirits. And I've had a good week. I've had a pretty cool week. I've been learning languages, actually. A little plug for a website called italki, Italki, where you can work with online language tutors. It's really cool. They have everything, including sign language. So if you have some time on your hands, check out italki and connect with a language tutor and learn some languages. So that's what I've been doing. So we get started with a cool fact about space. Certainly when I read it, my mind was blown. I was like, what? How can this be? Check it out. This is how we open. We open with this. Look at this. Let's make this smaller. There's a water reservoir floating in space that is equivalent to 140 trillion times all the water in the world's ocean. What? All this water reservoir is just floating around. Can you imagine that enormous mass of water just floating around? Oh man, what an image, huh? Mind blown. So with that, we start Module 5. We start by looking at the syllabus calendar here. This is us. So listen. Our final paper deadline for the final draft is around the corner. In fact, it's due 2 Thursdays from now, February 11 by 11:59 p.m. So because of that, since things are wrapping up, then I want to be considerate in terms of the workload. I want to give you the time to devote all of the necessary attention to your final draft of your research paper, since that's the piece de résistance for this class. So here's what we have due for this week. We have our last current event, our current event 2. And it's going to be just like the first one, just that it's our last one. That's going to be due by Sunday, February 7, 11:59 p.m. as usual. And this week, for our module, we have the peer review workshop for the research paper. It's the last one. It's our last peer review workshop. So finish strong and do the best job that you can. So the deadline for the rough draft is going to be this Wednesday, February 3 by 11:59 p.m. And you're going to have to leave feedback for your classmate by this Sunday, the 7th by 11:59 p.m. And that's it. That's what we have for this module. Pretty cool, huh? So with that being said, we go into our actual module, which is here. First thing we're going to see is the workshop. Let's talk about that. All right. So like I said, the rough draft of at least 2 pages, just like you did with the first rough draft, for the entertainment as political. Please have at least 2 pages, and it's going to be Wednesday, February 3 by 11:59 p.m. Just like last time, the Canvas system will automatically deliver 3 drafts for you to look at, and that's going to be 1 minute after the deadline. So that's going to be on Thursday, February 4 at 12 a.m. At exactly 12 a.m., the Canvas system will distribute your 3 drafts, okay? Remember, you won't get your drafts unless you submit your rough draft on time, right? Okay, we already said about the feedback by Sunday. Now, and I won't credit you beyond that date, so stay on your toes there and be pencil that into your calendar. So in terms of the actual logistics for how to operate the tools that Canvas allots us for actually doing the peer review workshop, the logistics and all that, just take a look at the video for the first peer review workshop that we did, for the last paper, and you can refresh your memory there. So check this out. Here are our suggestions for things to consider, our workshop questions, the things that I want you to bear in mind as you're looking at your classmates' drafts. Number 1, here's what I want you to do. Highlight your classmates' thesis statement. Remember, this assignment is an issue and solution task, right? So with that being said, the thesis statement has to fit into that mold, okay? So they have to have one. So highlight it, all right? They gotta have one. Is the thesis an exploration of an actual issue and a proposed solution? Like, are they fitting into the mold of what the prompt is requiring? Another helpful thing, guys, is if you have the actual prompt open, then you can be taking a look at that while you're looking at the drafts to make sure that your classmate is really hitting all the requirements of the prompt, right? Is it clear just what the issue is that your classmate will explore? Yeah, do they have an issue? You guys, this is funny. One time, actually it's been a few times where students have like written in such a general helicopter scope that they go something like, issues have assailed mankind since the dawn of time. And they just kind of continue talking about issues in a very general sense, but never really hone in on an actual particular specific issue, which is this paper's task. So make sure you don't get stuck in helicopter mode where you don't really establish what your selected issue is. Like, it has to be clear. Okay. Is the issue sufficiently narrow, or are they tackling something far too broad? That's a big one, guys, because a lot of times we get overwhelmed because the issue that we've selected, we want to do all the facets of it. But no, the trick is to narrow your scope as much as possible. So let's say, I don't know, let's say you're working on, okay, maybe you're proposing like a increase of minimum wage, right? Maybe the issue is the fact that the current minimum wage can't really cover the cost of living, right? So maybe that's the issue, and you're proposing like an increase in minimum wage. Now, to narrow your focus, you have to hone in on a particular area, right? Area of focus, particular demographic. So if I was you, I would probably choose like our state of California as opposed to like the whole country, because every state has their own state government, and it's a little hard to say, okay, here's the new uniform minimum wage for every state. So hone in your attention as much as possible. This is huge, guys. And if you're having trouble doing that, remember, feel free to reach out to our tutor, Priscilla, and even me. Remember, I'm here to help. Just let me know when you want to set up a Zoom meeting. All right. Is your classmates' proposed solution clear? Since that's the other task, they need to actually propose something. It's not just, okay, let's explore an issue. It has two parts, right? Let's explore this issue, and then here's something I'm proposing to help towards this issue. Remember that a solution is not necessarily something that has to resolve it all. If it's something that will help, then that's a step in the right direction, okay? Do they make it clear just what it would take to enact the solution? So the cost of it, right? What will it take to make it happen? How would it help their selected issue? So a good method to really apply on this is when you're presenting the issue and you're presenting the aspects of it that are problematic, that are detrimental, that are harmful, then it's always best to propose something that will specifically address those problematic aspects of the solution, right? So that it will coalesce nicely, right? Here are the problematic aspects of the issue, and here is how this solution will really address those aspects of it. Okay, you want to coalesce with that as much as possible. Okay. Dear classmates, draft align with the indications of this paper's prompt. So again, it's helpful to have the prompt open. Do you see any places in the essay that can be further developed? So remember, you're there to help. Maybe you see some areas that are a little bit weak that they should work on. Offer them some feedback, some ideas. Does everything in the paper work towards supporting its central project/thesis, which in this case is issue and solution, right? If not, then offer some ideas for how this can be accomplished. So perhaps you're looking at a paragraph, or you're looking at a part of a paragraph where they're talking about something that does not really do anything towards supporting their thesis, right? Like it doesn't really connect to it at all. So it's tangential. And a lot of times we even get writer's block too, because like we've gone off on such a tangent that it no longer directly corresponds to our thesis. So if you see some areas where that's happening, make sure to let them know, and you can offer some recommendations based on what you've been reading in the body paragraphs. So remember too, if the thesis is the central project of the paper, then every paragraph's central point is called the, what is it? Topic sentence, right? So make sure too that the actual topic sentences and they pertain to the thesis. Like everything should somehow point back to what the project is, to whether that is further illustrating why it's an issue, whatever they're exploring, why it matters, so its implications, if left unchecked, what could a potential tomorrow be, like, the solution itself, what would it take to enact it, why will it actually work, why will it help. A good thing to also consider is, because we're talking about the importance of narrowing your attention. Maybe you're looking at, say, the educational system within the United States. And maybe you're seeing somewhere else in the world where they're doing something very good with their education that is directly addressing the shortcomings of the educational system in the United States. So the idea is, how can we take what is working elsewhere and apply it here, right? Another one that I've read, which is really interesting, was about the nutrition offered in schools, right? And she was a student with Japanese ancestry, and she was looking at how in schools a lot of times we just have these frozen pizzas that they defrost, and that's what they feed us for lunch. I mean, that was the case with me. Frozen calzones, and they just defrost them, and frozen corn dogs, and they just defrost them, and all these things that aren't necessarily whole foods. So then she was talking about how she looked at how in Japan the types of nutrition and the cafeteria food that students receive in Japan, and she talked about how they were offering whole foods where the cooks would actually prepare whole real food with fish and with seaweed and like living things, right? As opposed to just artificially flavored or chemically produced. We don't want that, guys. So yeah. Okay. Our claims/opinions or analyses supported by evidence from the writer's sources. Okay, so because this is a research paper, then it does have that compulsory aspect of having to bring in other voices into the conversation. So maybe there are places where you can see that the student within their draft can bring in some more support, right? So you can make a point of make a note of that. Does the writer address implications, which is the so what, or ramifications, which is, if left unchecked, this is a potential detrimental outcome. Typically, a ramification has a negative connotation. So that's a big one. Address the so what. Here's why it matters. Here's why this issue is something that is worthy of taking steps towards rectifying or towards mitigating these detrimental shortcomings, right? Here's why it matters. Here's why it's a big deal. Same thing with the solution, like why that solution would ultimately make a difference and all that. So that's a huge distinction between, say, like a report and the actual academic work and analysis that we do at the college level. I remember when I was in high school, I could think of a clear example. We read The Clay Marble, and it was a book report, and it wasn't high school, I think it's middle school, and we read The Clay Marble, but and in high school too, we did a lot of just reports. We did a lot of reporting and not really enough analysis or things like that, where we would remember from our last assignment where we would do things like draw out connotations, where we look at larger themes or takeaways, or by looking at indirect suggestions and connections to real life, and addressing implications, which is why it matters, the so what question, right? A lot of times, I remember in grade school, we'd be stuck, because I was mentioning the clay marble, right? Like, I remember in middle school, it was just literally just reporting what happens in the book, and that's it. We didn't really go beyond that in terms of writerly moves that we were being asked to do. So that's like one of the salient new features of writing at the college level. So welcome to college, my friends. Okay, so remember this part. This is essentially the task. Issue. So what? Why is this a significant issue? So what could a potential... Okay, so sorry, this is addressing the implications of it, right? Which is a so what, why is a significant issue? So what could potential tomorrow look like if left unchecked? That's for ramifications of the issue. And then implications of the solution. So what, why is your solution important? How can your solution help towards this issue? So you got to make that clear, okay? So those are some ideas for this week's peer review workshop on the research paper. Remember, it's the last one, so like my gym trainer would tell me, finish strong, my friends. Okay, so that's for this one. Next one is the assignment link for our last current event. If you want a little more info for what that is, then take a look at the video from last module, okay? All right, and that's it. Voilà, c'est tout. Nous avons fini. I don't know how to say module. like I was saying, part of my language lessons, I've been taking lessons and practicing for French and Japanese, and it's really cool. I really recommend italki, guys. If any of you try it, let me know and tell me what you think. Italki. It's awesome. All right, my friends, I wish you a lovely, lovely week. Remember to take walks and ride your bicycle and enjoy the outdoors. Of course, being safe, wearing your mask and all that. But yeah, I wish you guys a lovely, lovely week. See ya.